for me, but she has every right to be as provocative as she wishes. So now she's gotten maybe the results that she wanted. I don't really know what she wanted.
I understand.
But here's the thing is, you see, Sean, I don't want anyone telling me what I know myself to be the limits of my free speech. I know what they are. I don't provoke people into violence. I never call for anyone's death. Never. That's how I've been able to survive radio for 21 years. So I know my limits, and I observe them very carefully. I know my responsibilities as a broadcaster to America and the world, and I respect them. However, I don't want some government bureaucrat to tell me what my limits should be. I know what they are. Do you want them to close down websites that have news that they don't agree with? Of course you don't. Do you, Sean?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I like to get all sides of the story. I just know, like, my mother and
what about pornography? Why is pornography so pervasive in America? Because one filthy, dirty dirtbag of the lowest order, who now supports Hillary Clinton, was shot in the groin by an angry resident. I forget his name. Some real filthy. He published Penthouse. I don't know his name. He had a lawyer argue before the Supreme Court that pornography is not pornography. Even though it may be offensive, it's protected by the First Amendment. So now we have pornography in every neighborhood, in every household, in every store, in every brain. We have porno around the clock because of that filthy, disgusting degenerate who was shot in the groin, Larry Flint. That degenerate, Larry Flint, hired a silk-smooth lawyer who argued that pornography was not pornography and it should be permitted because it's a First Amendment protected freedom of expression. It's artistic. It's autistic. So now we have porno everywhere. So, in other words, where are the limits of free speech? I'll let you decide. I can't decide it for you.
No, and again, I would agree with you. Again, I'm not arguing whether someone should tell you whether to do it or not, but I think common sense would tell you not to do something. You know that's going to incite violence.
Well, I wouldn't hold such an event. If you're asking me, would I hold a Draw Muhammad contest? No, I wouldn't do that. But she did. She's a provocateur. Okay. But apparently she was within her rights to be so. Isn't there a dirty, filthy comedian of the lowest order who never should have been born? A guy named C.K. something who's now held up as a role model, even though he's one of the filthiest minds on the planet. A sick filth that is now a star-studded member of the Hollywood community. He gets up there and says things that make me blush, and I've heard everything. Should he be banned? No, I just don't watch him. I think he's a filthy, disgusting, mentally ill man. That's what I would say about Pamela Geller. If you don't like what she is doing, then don't attend her events.
That's why I wasn't there. But again, I just don't think we should be. So what are we going to have, armed guards, and we're going to do stuff like this outside?
Well, why is it that most conservatives who speak need armed guards? Why is it that conservatives who don't even provoke Muslims, why do they need armed guards? Why did I have armed guards at all of my live events when I was still giving them? And I had them 20 years ago. When I was doing the compassionate conservative events, fry him and try him and fry him, name him and shame him. I did them all over the Bay Area, the Marin County Civic Center, the Oakland Airport Hilton. I have people who remember those events. I had 6 to 10 guards. I had the Marin Sheriff's Department guarding my parking lot. Why? Because liberals are hateful fascists, and they didn't like my patriotic themes. They hate the flag. They hate the country. That to them is offensive. But I still held the events then. So what should I have done? Not speak? Should I not get up every day and do my radio show? There are people who don't like what I say on this show on a daily basis. What should I do, Sean? Not speak?
No, absolutely not. We love when you speak. We all listen. But again, like I said, you don't come in, like you just said not that long ago. I don't do things that you know are, you wouldn't hold that type of event. Why? Because, people don't want to see that. For what? Again,
all right, so you're saying your opinion is she went too far.
Well, look at Charlie Hebdo. Same thing happened, right? Okay, we don't learn from our... Not to say that...
You mean they deserve to get killed because they did a cartoon cover of Muhammad?
Absolutely not. No, of course not. But look what happened, right?
Well, look what happened. What should have happened is that the French should have protected them, and they should have killed the Muslims first. They should have shot them like the dead rats they are in the street, like they did in Texas. Then you wouldn't have Muslims acting up like this if more of them were shot when they came like big, brave men with body armor and machine guns. But they did it in Paris where the people were unarmed, and they weren't quick on the draw like they are in Texas. I guarantee you the next terror attack in this country is not going to happen in Texas. I guarantee you they're not so quick to want to go see the sturgeon that they're going to do it in Texas. All right, let me send you a free copy of Countdown to Mecca. Now, the title of that book is very provocative, isn't it? I actually thought about it. I want you to think about my novel. Think about how provocative my novel is. This could be seen as provocative, couldn't it? Countdown to Mecca. In fact, my publisher argued with me for a long time and said, you can't publish that title. I said, but that's the essence of the book. The book is actually about someone who tries to stop the attack on Mecca. But I can guarantee you, as I'm sitting here, the Solentarists on the left are going to say, oh, Savage is calling for blowing up Mecca. Because they won't read the book. They typecast me, all the George Soros gangsters, the criminals working for the criminal tax evader, all attack me on a daily basis. That's why he spreads his money around. He uses the left to attack the conservatives because we're the only ones who know what the criminals are really doing. And because we are brave enough to speak out against criminals who evade taxes with double Dutch this, double Irish that, they attack us on a daily basis. It's all about the money at the end of the day. Okay, there's other news, but I'm not going to talk about it because I think this is the only subject that's worthy of discussion today. It's a huge event, and the reason we're talking about it, you know why this is such a big event? Because the Muslims got killed. Do you realize that if those Muslims who are dead now with the sturgeon, if they had been successful in their desire to shoot up the event, do you think that there would be as much controversy today? There wouldn't. Not at all, because you've come to expect violence from a certain segment of the population, haven't you? They've actually conditioned you into accepting their violence. But this time they were foiled by a lone Texas traffic cop who shot their brains out, even though they were wearing body armor and they had AK-47s. Do you know that? I'd like to know who's behind them. I want to know what mosque they attended. I want to know what mosque they went to in Arizona. I want to know where the Council on Islamic American Hate Relations is today. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN. Pamela Geller is a heroine. She's the real Martha Washington of our time, not that phony blonde on Fox News. I want you to go back in time. There were always people who dared stand up and do offensive things in order to attract attention to something that was even more offensive. Sharia law is what she fears, not Muslims. And she wants to awaken you to the hatred that exists within the Muslim community. And if more of us were like Pamela Geller, eventually we could have more freedom in this country. I'll give you another example. I go to a few Italian restaurants in San Francisco. I go to the North Beach restaurant. I go to Pinocchio. I occasionally like to eat ham in the form of prosciutto, right? Do you want to live in a world where a few Muslims tell you that you can't even have ham anymore? Well, it's going on in this country. Some school districts have said, shh, don't offend the Muslims. Oh, they don't like ham. Take it off the menu. Oh, better take the ham off. Just take some ham off it. So it's the liberals say, it's just ham. What do I care about ham? I'm a vegan anyway. First, they came for the ham, and I did not raise my voice because I am not a pig. You know what I'm saying. When they came for the ham, I didn't raise my voice because I was a vegan. I didn't eat ham. And, I mean, where do you want this to go? Where do you want it to end? Screw them all. They don't like it here. Let them go live in Yemen. That's what I say. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. You don't like America, get the hell out of the country. Okay, take your throwback religion with you if you don't like it. Don't try to change this country to what it will never be. More of us are like that Texas traffic cop than you may imagine. We're not all Woody Allen. We're not all Larry David. So the fact of the matter is that's what just happened. Some people think that way. Pamela Geller wanted to provoke, to show you how hateful some of them can be. And they're dead. They expressed their rights to free speech. They used an AK-47. The traffic cop expressed his right to free speech. He used a handgun. Guess who won? The traffic cop. He shot him in the head with their body armor. That's the whole story. You don't like it here, leave.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Can you brag a bit more about your officer here? I mean, I think the scenario is two guys with assault rifles who may be wearing protective gear up against one officer with a service pistol. Fair to say he did a hell of a job last night.
He did what he was trained to do, and under the fire that he was put under, he did a very good job, and probably saved.
I want you to put your hand on your heart wherever you are and listen to this. This is not Jamie Foxx mocking the national anthem. This is Michael Savage saluting the national anthem. Because this story is like the Alamo. This is the beginning of the fight back against Islamists and against the Islamization of America. It's a fight against Sharia law. That's what Pamela Geller wanted to happen, and it happened. Go ahead, play it louder. It's almost over. Liberals now want to put limits on free speech. Liberals are saying, well, she provoked them. She had no right to have a cartoon contest. These are the same liberals who defend pornography in the kindergarten class. These are the same liberals who have your sons come in and cross-dress in the third grade. These are the same liberals who pushed free speech to a point of no return. Now suddenly they want Pamela Geller not to be able to have a cartoon contest. These are the same liberals who said it's not offensive to put a statue of Jesus in a jar of urine as they did at the Brooklyn Museum a number of years ago and snickered when Christians were offended in New York. Well, it's freedom of speech. The head of the Brooklyn Museum said, the little rat with a nice suit and a nice haircut. It's freedom of speech to put Jesus in a jar of urine. I guarantee you that head of the Brooklyn Museum is somewhere deep in the bowels of the federal government today. Guarantee you. Telling you what the limits of your free speech should be, not his. So look, this is it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's, I would say, a seminal situation. What just happened in Texas has many elements to it, which is why we're talking about it. If the Muslims in body armor with AK-47s had shot up the place, it'd be just another act by more mad Muslims somewhere on the earth. And you said, oh, that's terrible, horrible. How many are dead? Oh, that's awful. Let me go on with my day. But you wouldn't have been as provoked as you are today. Because now the Muslims are dead. And now you're mad at Pamela Geller for having had a cartoon contest. See, there's the conundrum. You don't even understand what the conundrum is. I really would like to know who the traffic cop was, who in the midst of fire, these guys jumped out of their car with blazing automatic weapons. They injured his partner in the foot. Who had the presence of mind to draw a handgun and shoot him in the head? This guy has to be a former combat veteran. That's all I can say. And the second thing I'd like to tell you is if you're driving through Texas, obey all traffic laws. It's not Baltimore. And it's not Brooklyn. Just obey all traffic laws if you're in Texas. That's all I can tell you. That's the secondary story. I can guarantee you everyone will be watching their stops, the stop signs, and they're not going to go on a yellow. And that's it. Here we are today talking about this. So right away, the liberals attack Pamela Geller. It's not free speech. It crossed the line. We know how I heard this. You provoked them. Got what you deserved. You provoked anti-Islamic sentiment. That's the CNN version. That's also, I think, Fox News took that position. Didn't Martha Washington already take that position? That she provoked them? Sure. She had a new dye job, and she gave a statement that Pamela Geller is the problem, not the solution. So here we are. We're talking about it. If you'd like to join in the conversation and be heard by more people than you meet for the rest of your life, 855-407-282, but don't do it because we're sold out. Oh, we have one open line. WMAL in Washington, D.C. Brian, go ahead. You're up on the Savage Nation. What's on your mind?
How you doing, Dr. Savage? Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to comment on your previous caller. I actually think he was asking the wrong question. He was asking, why would you have an event of that nature? In this country, to me, that seems kind of outrageous that you need to ask that question. I think the question he should be asking is, why would having an event like that cause someone to want to go pick up AK-47s and come out and shoot a bunch of people? That's the more outrageous part of it.
Of course. What kind of religion teaches this kind of behavior is the real question. And how many more of them are waiting to go on a rampage because of what they're hearing in the mosques? That's the real question, is it not?